We're going to start on the front side of our websites. This happens to be one of our test tracks, our simulation tracks, as we call them. It's called Your Favorite Track. This is our simulation website. This is the general form of most of our websites. We do customize each website for each tracker series or driver that we work with. So they don't all look the same. They don't all have the same format, but all of the functions and features that are here will be present somewhere on your website, in a similar location for the most part. So this website happens to have a few features that I'll talk about really quickly. The top is called the headline feed. This is a separate thing from your news articles that you could headline or point out certain things that are going to be happening at your racetrack. It cycles through 3 different headlines that you can update. As your season progresses, you can change those headlines to be the most current information or the most current events for your fans. Otherwise, there are a few other features on here that you can see. At the top, we have our next event listed. It happens to be today, it says. We also have a buy tickets button, as well as many other things up here in the navigation bar. But I want to talk about strictly what makes having a website so important. There are 4 pieces to a website that really let's start with the website in general. It's super important to have a website in general because you want it to be a professional place for people to be able to go and find all relevant and up-to-date information about you, because nowadays we all know most people will go to Google and they'll Google where they're going and they'll try to look up things ahead of time, whether it's if you're racing or not, or what the facility is like, or what things you offer and don't offer. All of that information is pertinent information that contain on a website that you can update yourself, because if the information changes, you want to be able to make sure that it's communicated to everybody that looks at your website. So it's really important for all of those things because it's easy to find information on your website. And you want to think about, if I was a fan or if I was somebody looking for a website about something, about a racetrack particularly, what are the important information that I need to have on there, right? And that's kind of what we really push with a website. For those high trafficked areas are areas that My Race Pass really can help you out with. 3 of them kind of happen on a race night. Actually, one of them happens toward the beginning of the season. The other 2 happen on race night. And the 4th one is probably what I would consider to be the most important, because it's where you're going to keep your fans up to date and really keep them engaged with every new event or every new piece of information that happens at your racetrack. So we're going to talk about the 4 different areas. The first one is to have a very detailed schedule. So if I click on the schedule button here at the top of my navigation bar, having a very detailed schedule is super helpful. I know that ours are not as detailed as they could be when it comes to keeping up with information, but if I clicked on an event, if you add information in here, it would show up right here underneath this name, where you could describe what was going to be happening at your track. You could add more details like gate fees or anything like that, especially if you don't have online tickets for your events. It'll be important to have those pieces of information listed there. So being able to have a very detailed schedule, you can see these schedules do have all of the pertinent classes that are running on those particular evenings. Those are listed underneath the name of the event. Obviously, if there's more than can contain, you can see it says ... If I click on that, you will see more classes listed here. So that's where that kind of lies in the schedule piece. The next piece that's super important are results. So you can see that some of these events here have results attached to those. If I click on results, I would be able to see the results from that particular event underneath the event information. So here's the event information that was provided. Underneath that, you will see results from that particular date. Results are another thing to have super handy on your website. For drag strips, it's really nice because you can see those round by round results, just like we talked about the other day. These happen to be all oval track results here that I'm showing, but they present the same way as drag strip ones. So having results is super important because we can figure out what happened that night, right? Who was the important driver? All of those things. Like who took first. Obviously, Billy Bob here took first in this feature here. So he's the king of the night. And you can see, how many laps he led and all that good stuff, or how many positions he gained. So that's kind of all the information you can gather from results. So results are super important, whether you upload them from MRP like I showed the other night, or if you manually input them also like I showed the other night. It's important to have results because then people can kind of relive the event through your results. The next thing is points are really important. Again, we talked the other night about how easy it is to use a point scheme in my race pass. I did not show how to do manual points if you're just going to enter points as show up points. I can show you that if you would like, so make sure you email me, amanda.wessler@myracepass.com, or you email support@myracepass.com and ask that question, and we can provide you with, or I will provide you with some resources and some videos to show how to do points just as show up points rather than round by round result points. So points obviously is important. We have a particular tab here for points, so it's handy and easy for everybody to get to. And again, it's broken down by class. You can see the 410 sprints, and then you got some stock cars, so on and so forth. So here's a top ET at the bottom. We looked at this page the other night as well. The last thing that we have on here is news, or that I deem is important, is news. Our news happens to be underneath of our media tab, along with our photos and videos. So if I click news, it will bring up every article from that particular year. I'm on 2025. We have not updated 2025 very much, just this one post. But if I go back to 2024, you can see that I have a few more articles here listed with images and a brief description of the first part of my news story. So having those 4 pieces is super important because it just drives more traffic to your website. So with news articles, what I would use them for, particularly in drag racing, would be race recap. So if I was going to, at the end of the night, if I was going to put a post together for Facebook, instead I would put a post together for or a news article together for my website, post it on my website, and then share that to my Facebook. So then everybody gets drawn back to my website where they can find other information about other races that are going to happen at my facility. But news articles are really nice for making those race recaps, like so-and-so won this class, so-and-so won this class. You can include photos. I'll show you all about that in a minute. But you can use photos and all of those good things to try to keep people up to date and informed and engaged with what's happening at your facility. You can also use news stories for schedule updates. Let's say you had a schedule change. You can do a news article for that as well. The reason you would want to do that is because, remember the other day I said, if fans and racers favorite your facility on the MyRacePass app or your series on the MyRacePass app, every time you post a news article, they get a push notification that you have made a news article. So if you make a schedule change and you create a news article for that, they will get a push notification for that schedule change. It's really nice and handy for all those pieces of information. You could also do sponsor shout outs this way. It's a great way to showcase a sponsor, get your sponsor more attention by doing a single article on that particular sponsor. And then you can, again, share that to your Facebook page, giving them even more exposure, and which can help you actually get more money in the end for your sponsorships. So just think about news, particularly as a way to share your knowledge and share the things that are happening at your track, and having it be somewhere where it's going to stay consistently, right? We can put things on social media, but they're gone or buried in a very quick manner, the way that social media is designed. So with a website, it's always there, it's always in order, it's always going to stay constant, and people know where to find it. So it's a nice place to refer people back to. And the last reason I'm going to talk about why websites are so important, especially through MyRacePass, is we have what's called digital advertising. You can see on this website here, I've got this ad talking about dropship apparel. I also have this one down the side talking about hero cards. These are, obviously, these are targeted ads for MyRacePass because this is a MyRacePass, fake MyRacePass track. But those are what we call digital advertising spots. So we have the ability to sell advertising at a corporate level. So we go and get advertisers to spend their advertising budget with us. And then we put ads together and we put those on websites that we design. And then the cool part is you get kickback for the traffic that is produced from your website to those ads. So if you have digital advertising on your website, it will actually earn you money towards anything you want it to be, really, but it'll actually earn you money for having a website. So if in fact you have more traffic on your website, it'll earn you more money. Hence another reason why to constantly or consistently update your website with new news articles and share that out over your social media, because again, drawing people back to your website gets you more traffic on your website, which gets you more ad impressions, which will get you more money. So just think about that in terms of like, I don't want to say an inexpensive way to make money, because it's not inexpensive necessarily, but it's an easy way to make money towards what you need. So we do pay those out quarterly. As long as it's reached over $100, we will pay it out quarterly for the traffic that's been progressing through your website. We have some tracks that have earned a significant amount of money. My company owner just delivered a check to one of our clients that earned I think it was $700, I think, over the last quarter for the traffic that has been the traffic that has come to his website and gotten the advertisers traffic as well. So it's a nice way to make some money as you have a website. You can also, the other thing you can do is you can also share links to your website, links to like your points page and your photo album and those kind of things from your website to your social media. And again, it draws people back to your website, and then there's going to be more traffic for you. And also with the photo albums being on Facebook, again, that's fine. But again, if you have them on your website, it's nice because then they're all in one spot. You can track them better. And it's easier to really manage what you've got going on. So those are all the important reasons why having a website, especially with MyRacePass, is awesome. But I'm going to show you now on the backside how to update all of these things. So I'm going to go to the dashboard. We talked about this dashboard several times this week. So in order to update anything on your website, you're going to do one of two things. With news articles, you've got a couple options to get there. We do have a news button or news tab over here on the left-hand side. If you click news, it will take you directly to the news page. We'll talk about this screen in just a minute, but we'll take you directly to the news page. Or from the dashboard, you can either click on this website button here, this bigger button with the globe, or we got this globe over here on the bottom left. That will take you to what we call the web management page, which is all of the things that all of the buttons that you can use to update pieces of your website. So let's start with talking about news. There are two ways to publish. I already talked about two ways to publish news. We're going to create a news article, but what we're going to talk about is what happened when I clicked this news button last time. So you can see this big pop-up window here in front of you. At MyRacePass, we have this really cool thing called the MyRacePass Network. When you create a news article, you can tag other tracks, series, drivers, sponsors, all of these different things. You can tag them in your news article. And then that news article actually will show up on their profile like this. It will come up in a pop-up window when they go to their news. And it will say, so-and-so posted an article and tagged you in it. Would you like to add it to your website also? Which is kind of really handy when it comes to, let's say we have a MyRacePass driver. A driver that has a MyRacePass account or website with us. And they write a news article about winning at your facility and they tag your facility in it. They now have created an extra article for you that you didn't have to write, that now you can put out on your website, and it's there for everybody to read. It's just more exposure for the driver, and it's more exposure for your track as well. So it's really handy, especially when you get tagged in articles, because again, it's extra articles that you didn't have to write that can be more content for your website. So if you want to add them, you would just click on the articles you'd like to add, and you're going to click the Add Selected button, and it will add it to your news page. If you don't want to have any of them, you can click the check boxes and say Dismiss Selected, and then this won't pop up anymore. So that's kind of how the network works. The network is really nice and handy, and I'll show you how to tag things as we go. So to create a news article, obviously this is the news platform that we are working with. So to create a news article, you just click Add News up here in the top left, and then you get this screen right here. This is where you're going to build your article. We do recommend that you build your article, like write your entire article on something that you're not going to lose if you lose internet. So like a Google Doc that's available offline, or a Word doc, or something of that nature. Because if you start writing your article here and website happens to fail or your internet crashes or whatever might happen, whatever you typed in there is gone now. So writing your article somewhere in a spot where you can get it back is probably a good idea. But the first thing you want to do is give yourself a heading. That would be the title of your news story. So I'm going to say this is just a test news article. And then you have this option to create, say, user account. You can submit this as an administrator or not. I'm going to uncheck that. I just don't want my name appearing on the article, so I'm just going to uncheck that. As for the date, you have to have today's date, or this is giving me tomorrow's date. Today's date. I was saying the 28th. Okay. Today's date or a past date, but you cannot have a future date. So you can post date it, but you cannot date it ahead of time. Like it's going to tell me date can't be past date. So you can't go past today. So we're going to mark this as, oops, it went to March. Mark this as an article from the 25th. You can give credit to somebody. So let's say you had somebody else write the article, or you took you're sharing an article that somebody else has written previously. You can give them credit here. It just depends on what you want it to say. You can just say official press from your favorite track, obviously, like that says. Or you can just leave it blank. When you write the news article, the body of the news article is just like a regular news article. But you can use all of those markdown, what we call markdown syntax. So things like making it bold or making it italicized. All of those will work inside of a news article. Adding a picture to your news article, which we'll talk about in a minute. But adding a link to something. So I could say visit My Race Pass, and this is how you do a link. To do a link on a news article, you do square bracket, and then you put whatever you want to be the clickable font or the clickable words in the square brackets. So visit My Race Pass, and then close the bracket, and then open a parenthesis, and then type or find the website that you wanted to link to. So I'm going to go to myracepass.com. I'm going to copy this, and you paste that right inside there, and then you close the parenthesis. That's going to give me a link within my news article. You can also make things bold by using double asterisks on either side, like so. And then you're just going to write your news article in the body of this template. And then once you're done writing the body of your article, over here you can add an article media. So if I click add media, it's going to bring this up right here. This is going to give you all of the website galleries that already exist on your website. If you don't have a website gallery that you want this image to go into, or you just don't want to put it in one, you can just click upload new and then say no gallery, or you can add it to a specific gallery. So I'm going to put it inside of my drag racing photos. And the nice part is like when you upload a photo here, you can upload hundreds at a time by just drag and dropping them from your folder. So I'm just going to grab one of these images I have here. This is a good one. Drag and drop this here, and it will upload. It doesn't take very long. Again, if you have hundreds of them, it might take minutes, but it's definitely not going to take any longer than that. Once you're done uploading it, you're just going to click the X in the top right, and now it's going to show up as your article media. This will be like the image at the top of your article. It will be the image on your news page. So that image is important to have something that's pertinent for the article that you're writing. Down here on the bottom right, this is where that article networking comes in. So remember me saying you might have a pop-up window that comes up of articles that people have tagged you in. This is your opportunity to do the same thing. You can tag people in the articles that you're writing. The first thing you have to tag is what type of racing it is. So click on this little magnifying glass, and it's going to bring up this list of the racing types that we have in our system. I'm going to pick drag racing, and then you can tag any driver. So let's say that this was a race recap. You could go through and start typing your driver's names, and they're going to pop up. And then you can tag them in this article. So now if Amanda, myself, goes to her profile, it's going to say, hey, you have a news article that you were tagged in. Would you like to add it to your profile? And I can say yes or no. Other tracks you could tag in it, series, events, if you got an event specific. The cool part is if you tag an event, again, if it's a race recap, if you tag the event in the news article, then it will populate onto the event details page on your schedule. So I'm going to tag the event from the 25th because that is going to be the day that I publish this article. So then this article will also populate onto that page as well. Any classes, sponsors, or miscellaneous could also be tagged from here if you need to. If you have a consistent list of tags that you use, like you always tag drag racing or you always tag your favorite track, you can set these tags the first time you write an article and then literally click this button that says set tags as default. And every article you write after that will come pre-populated with those tags that you had already done previously. So being able to set tags as a default is super handy, again, if you consistently use the same ones, especially if you find that you've got quite a few tags happening all the time. It's a nice, faster way to tag things. So once you've got your article networking done, you're going to preview your news. It's going to show you what it's going to look like on the website. So you can see this is where it says, here's that link that I showed you, and here's that bold text that I typed in there. And over here, it's going to tell me what my tags were. And then I'm just going to push publish. When it publishes, it's just going to bring you to this page. This page just showing you what it is that you have in here. If you find that you need to modify something, like you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to add something to my article. Right up here is this edit button. If you click edit, it will bring up this window and you can modify the body, the header, the date it was published, any of that information like before. When you're done, you click save. If you need to update your media item, you just click here. Again, it's going to take you to this screen. What if you want to delete the photo that's already there? You're going to go to this edit remove and you're just going to exit out. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to? And you're going to say, yes, I do. And then go back to select, and you can pick a new image for your article. Notice it's got a green square around the picture. If you want to use it, you can also add more than one picture at a time. If you do, those images just end up at the bottom of your article once you click into it. So there I've got some images. And again, you can update your tags right here. You can just click on them and start type in the boxes to add any tags that you must have forgotten or may have forgotten. So that's kind of what you do for a news article. On the front side, the news article does have a 10-minute cache on it, meaning it's going to take about 10 minutes for it to update onto your website, as you can see here. So we'll check on that in a minute on the main website, but it does take about 10 minutes for those to actually populate and be available for people to see on the front side. So if you want to release something at a specific time, make sure you post it about 10 minutes before that, because then it will populate at the specific time that you want the article to post at. So that's how you do news articles on My Race Pass. That's the cool part about this is, again, it's fairly simple. It's fairly straightforward. There's not a whole lot of extra typing and things that you have to do. I do want to show you our markdown syntax. This is another article on our help center. So again, if you go to mrphelp.com and just type in markdown syntax, it will give you this article that lists the different ways to get different kinds of font. So if you want it italicized, it's single asterisks, bold is double asterisks or underscores. If you want it just to look like block text like this, a block quote, you can do that. It just was the arrow in the front. And here's that link one that I was talking about. So this is the format that you need it to be if you wanted to make it a clickable link. And there's also a way to put images in there if you follow this format here. Headings, if you want things to be larger or smaller, depending on the font, what you're doing and the font you want to use. This is how you get it to look that way. You put pound signs or multiple pound signs depending on what size you want your font to be. If you want it to be bigger or the biggest, you're going to put 1 pound sign, and then from there on it decreases in size from there. You can also do bulleted lists, numbered lists, and so on and so forth. This is a really handy tool to find on our Help Center article, and as you can see here, I favored it to my bookmark so that I can always come back to it whenever I'm writing something and I can't remember what that formatting needs to look like. I can refer back to this page right here. So that's all about news articles. I think news articles are really handy because, again, it keeps people informed on what's happening at your facility. The last thing I'm going to show you about news articles is how to quickly share them to your Facebook page. So I said the other day that my Facebook page is not linked to my fake track, quote unquote, my demo track. But I do recommend that you link your Facebook page to your MRP profile, because when you write a news article, there's this really nice button right here that says share this. If you click that button, sorry to move it over. We do not have a way to do Twitter, obviously, right now because it's a little up in the air, but we can post to Facebook. So if you check this box, obviously I can't because I don't have a Facebook account attached, but you check this box, make sure you're on the proper Facebook account here, and you just click post. And it will post an article over on your Facebook page, or sorry, post a post on Facebook page that includes this article that I have written. And it'll, again, it's just more traffic back to your website. So that's kind of how you write news articles. That's the, and then the other thing you can do, I forgot to mention this, the other thing you can do, if there's a news article that you like, you wrote it because you wanted to get something out immediately, like, hey, don't forget about this change in the schedule or whatever it might be, you have the option to delete the news article, but you also have the option to deactivate the news article. So if you click this active button from this screen, it will disable it and it will no longer be showing on your website. You also can do it from the all news page. Right here's that test article that I just wrote. You can check the box, or sorry, click the check mark, and it will turn to a stop sign to disable it. And that's how you turn them off and on. You can also delete it from here if you want to. That's really up to you. But just click that delete, and it's going to say, you know, like, are you sure? And then you say yes, and then it deletes it. So that's all about news articles. Next up, we're going to go over to the media tab up here at the top. This is where you're going to have your photo albums and your videos, as well as your managed files. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of those because those are all very important. The first one is the photos. Photos upload is very simple. I kind of showed you a little bit when I did the news article media. However, I want to talk a little bit about galleries. If you don't manage your galleries well on the backside of your website, it can look really messy on the backside and or the front side of your website, depending on if you have them turned on or off. So I recommend trying to think about how you'd like to organize your galleries to make sure that it makes sense for you. I'm going to give a suggestion for what I do, not on this particular website, but on some of our other websites. I like to kind of embed our galleries depending on what type of photos I'm trying to produce. So on most of them that I do, I actually want to do news article photos. Like there's a album right here called News Photos. I like to have a news photo gallery right here on my main gallery page. And then what I do is I actually will have galleries inside of that for the months of the news articles so that I can kind of narrow down where my pictures need to be housed and or where I can find those pictures at a later date. So inside of my news gallery photos, I might create another gallery. So if I click add gallery up here at the top, I can have it be a sub gallery. So if I click on this drop down that says sub gallery, I can have it be a sub gallery of news photos. And I can call this like January 2025. And I can give it a date of whatever it might be. I'm going to actually push it back to January 1st. And I can also give it a description if I'd like to, like this gallery contains blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to click save. Now that I've got this gallery, I can add photos to it that I'm going to use in my news articles for January 2025. I can also, if I go back one, now I'm inside of the news photos gallery. See news photos? I'm inside of my news photos gallery, and you can see that I've got another gallery inside of that. I can turn this gallery off so that my news photos aren't necessarily showing all over my website, because maybe I want them to only show on my news articles and not anywhere else. So I can shut my galleries off so that they aren't published on my website. So that's kind of what I do with the news galleries. I would also try to create some galleries either based on the type of racing that you're doing or the date of the event. If it's a traveling series, you might do it based on the tracks that you're attending. I would create a base folder for that particular type of racing, or like I said, winner's circle pictures or whatever it might be. And then within that folder, I would put the dates of the events, like 2/25/25, and then I would put all the pictures from that date inside of that folder. That way they're kind of contained and they're kind of easy to manage and keep track of. Otherwise, you end up with hundreds of folders that might have 2 or 3 pictures in them. Or you've got folders and you're like, wait a minute, where's that one from when we went to Mason-Dixon 3 years ago? Well, if we are keeping our folders nice and neat and organized, it might be a lot easier to find that than it would be to scroll back hundreds of pages of galleries, because you have a new gallery for every single thing. So just some suggestions for organizing your galleries. You don't have to, obviously, but I just want to make it easier for you to manage and keep up with, and just find it to be helpful. So like I showed earlier, I'm just going to show you real quick again. Inside of a gallery, you can add more photos. You just click add, and then if you don't want to add a previous photo, which is what this page is, you're going to click upload new. And again, that's where that file folder box comes up. You just grab whatever pictures you want from it. I'll click on a couple more. Again, I guess I'll upload this one again and drag it over, drag and drop. And once they're all loaded, you can click up here in the top right to close out of that. And now we'll have 2 more photos added to our gallery. So you can see that I do have a duplicate here. I've got this one there and this one here. I can delete photos from my album too. You just click on them and you click the drop down and you say remove from gallery, and just say remove, and it will no longer be in your gallery. So that's kind of what it looks like, or uses, or how to use photo galleries. You can also delete galleries or do a full delete of them. Full delete means it deletes them from the entire system. If you delete the gallery, it will still have the photos wherever you've used them, so you don't lose all that content that's out there. So those are your options. Again, you can turn the galleries off and on over here in the status. You just click on the check mark and it will turn it to a stop sign, and then click it again and turn it back on. So that's how you do photos. Photos are pretty straightforward. You can do a lot of other things with photos. You can look at them with a magnifying glass and make them a little bit larger. You can open them in entirely new windows to make them super big. You can also look at the tools and you can crop them. You can move the image around and figure out where you want the top to be. You can set that as the new top, and you can kind of modify what you can see in that photo, depending on the size of the photo and all the other things about it. You can also add captions. So over here on the right, you can add captions. You could say, give them a title and say what's going on in them if you wanted to go that far with all of these photos. Depending on how many photos you have, that might be a little time consuming, but you can do that. You can also reorder them. So let's say that you wanted to make sure that this picture was first in the album. You can just drag it and then save. And again, you just click reorder, click and hold, drag this wherever you want it to be, let go, and then click save order. So you can move the photos around within the gallery as well. So that is all about photo galleries. Underneath photo galleries in this drop down is the videos. You can also upload videos to your website. If you'd like to, we do have a way to integrate with YouTube channels as well, if that is easier for you, or better off. But and I'll show you what that looks like on the front side. But you can upload videos here as well, just very similar to the photos. You can create a gallery, and then inside of that gallery you can upload videos. So if I click add, I'm going to say that I want to upload new, and it looks a little bit different than photos, because any video that is uploaded to My Race Pass must also exist somewhere else first, like YouTube or Vimeo or Ustream. It has to have a URL somewhere else. So you have to upload your video to some other source, and then you can copy and paste that URL right here, and that is how you're going to upload your photos to your profile and or your website. Again, you'll give it a name and a description, and you'll copy and paste that URL right here, and then click upload. And then your video will upload like you see here. So that's how you do videos. Like I said, we do have the capability of integrating your YouTube channel right to your website. So if I look at this website here, if I click on media and I click on videos, you will see that there's a whole array of videos that are uploaded here that obviously are not shown on this backside. There's only 4 total videos listed on this side, on the backside of the website. But on the front side, you can see that I have a lot of videos. This happens to be the Hunt Front folks. Hunt the Front, my bad. We are directly pulling these videos from their YouTube page. And every time you upload a new video to your YouTube page, it will automatically populate on your website within about an hour or 2 of you uploading it to your YouTube page. So this one kind of automatically updates. You don't have to go upload it to YouTube and then come over here and upload it here as well. If you integrate your YouTube page right to your website, it uploads all your videos directly to your website for you, and you don't have to upload it twice. So we do have that capability as well. So it's really nice that we have that feature, although again, like I said, you could upload them individually. That is a choice. Last thing underneath the media tab that we're going to talk about is what we call manage files. Manage files is like if there are any PDFs, particularly, I think about this as being mainly PDFs. If there are any PDFs or JPEGs or images of some description, flyers, schedules, anything like that you'd like to share on your website, you can upload those files here and then you can use them on the website. The other way to do it is when I show you how to do super pages. You can actually use a particular type of super page feature that will upload them to this spot already. So this is just where you can find them if you need to update them or if you need to see what they are or anything of that nature. This number of uses just tells you where it's being used at. This one happens to be used on 3 different pages. So if I clicked on that, it would show me what pages it's showing up on. If you click on this little chain link thing, it will bring up whatever this document is in the independent window. Same thing for anything else. Click on it, it's going to bring it up. Maybe. There we go. So that's what it looks like to have your managed files. Again, to add a file, you're just going to click Add File. You give it a revision date, a name. That name needs to be something that you can tell what it is. Don't name it some random name or some silly name, because whatever name is written here is the name that's going to publish onto your website when you attach this file to one of your super pages. So again, make sure you choose a name that's very descriptive and explains exactly what the file is so that people know what they're clicking on. And then you'll just click Choose File. You'll attach that file. It does not matter whether this file that you choose has the same name as the name you've given it. Those do not have to match. So again, make sure that this name is a name that's very descriptive and lets people know exactly what your file is about. Then you click Save and it would show up on this list. So again, things that I would include on this files that you could use, and I'm going to show you later where those things might appear. Those would be like a yearly schedule, any kind of rules documents, any registration forms, any W-9s, anything like that you're going to want your people to fill out. Those would all be files that you would attach here so that you can use them other places on your website. Again, like I said, we'll show you how to upload those in other places in a minute. We're going to skip over a couple of these. Profiles is something you won't typically use. Tickets obviously is tickets. It's going to send you back to your ticketing page. So we're going to skip over tickets because we talked about those yesterday. Store, we're going to come back to in a moment. We're going to go to contact. Contact page is like the contact is the contact page that you'd find like on your website. Like on this page right here, this is what's considered a contact page. It's where people can send you emails and where they can find the general contact information about your facility or your series. So if I go to contact, there's a couple different things underneath of this. The first one is a general contact. This is where you're going to put in any specific person that you want them to contact. Like let's say there's one person that's in charge of, taking everybody's requests and those kind of things. You might have them as your contact person over here in this contact information column. I do recommend obviously to at least have a phone number or an email address that people can contact. And then you could have a physical address and a mailing address. If they are different, obviously I would recommend you having both of those. If they're the same, I don't know if you need both of them. However, it does show up and say mailing address and physical address. So I would recommend putting addresses in both of those columns. Those are just general contact information. Next thing down is what we call form subjects. That would be like this part of your contact page. The spot where people are going to fill in their name, their email, and what their problem is. You can create a form form subject for almost anything that you can think of. In this case, we have a few of them here. We have a merchandise one, we have a general inquiries, we have tech questions. You could do employment, you could do a number of different things for subject matter. And each one of those subject matters, you can have that specific message or the messages pertaining to that specific topic sent to a specific email address, or 2 or 3 or 4, however many you'd like. So to add an email address, you'd click add new email. You'd put in the contact person's name and their email address, and you'd click save. And then you would come back over to the available email addresses, and you would select which email addresses you would like to use for this particular form subject, and you would type in what it's about. So in this case, I might say, I'm just gonna put like silly stuff. I'm gonna delete this so it doesn't matter. And then I would click add, and you can see that anybody who writes a form subject about silly stuff is going to be emailed to the PayPal. It's going to get emailed to Austin Lloyd, and it's going to get emailed to me, Amanda Wessler. All 3 of us will receive the same email from all of the silly stuff inquiries that are on our website. You can move these subjects up and down. The reason you would move these subjects up and down is because this is the order that they appear on the drop down on your website. So if the most common thing that you get emails about is merchandise, you might want to have that as your default or the first option available. If tech questions are going to be the thing you get the most questions about, you might want to move that one up on the list and have that one be the first one that shows up. You can change the order of these. You can add people to, you can add more than one email address to a topic. Let's say it changes. Let's say Amanda's no longer the one getting tech questions. You can delete this one, and then you can redo it. So now I'm going to say, oh wait, Austin is going to be the one getting the tech questions. So now I can change this to be Austin's job to receive all the tech question messages. So that's what form subjects are for. They're for you to have targeted subject matter emails sent to specific people. Underneath contact, you can also put staff members. We do not have that on our website, but you do have the option to add staff members to your website. IHRA is one that has that. I will show you quickly what that looks like. If I go to the contact page, you can see that these are the individual contacts. It's kind of nice if you have somebody that's going to be specifically in charge of one thing, right? You are allowed to put on a photo. Now, they opted for the IHRA logo for everybody, but you could put a photo of that person as well as their name, what their job title is, and then if there is a contact email, you can also put that as well. So that's a way to do individual contacts if you want people to put a face with a name or have a direct email to a specific person. You can include that all in these individual contacts. The last thing on here is view messages. Remember me saying that these form subjects go to these particular people. Those messages also all populate here on this page. So you can see that we have 2 messages in here, one from 2021 and one from 2020. And every time somebody sends in a form subject request message or form subject message, it will populate on this view messages page as well as in the inbox of the person who's supposed to receive that form subject. So that's just another place to find it if the person in charge of that particular topic happens to delete it or can't find it or whatever it might be. It's still going to live here on this page until you delete it from this page. So that's kind of the contact page. There's a lot you can do within it if you want to, but obviously you don't have to. Now we're going to step back one to the store. There are 3 different ways to run a store through your MyRacePass website. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. I'm not going to show you how to set up a store tonight, but if you do want to learn how to do that, remember you can email support@myracepass.com and we can get you set up with a walkthrough to show you how to do that. depending on what type of store you're looking to do. So the first one we have is what we call dropship apparel. You can set up a store using dropship apparel. The nice part about using dropship apparel through My Race Pass, is you don't have to have any inventory in stock for you at your facility. Everybody purchases their apparel online, and it's actually shipped directly to them through our dropship apparel company that prints the apparel for us. So it is only shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeves, tank tops, those kind of things. We do have multiple colors as well. And then that's just like the options. And people will purchase the dropship apparel, and then, like I said, I'll ship directly to them, and you don't have to touch it. You don't have to worry about getting shipping labels or where it's going, or make sure you have the proper sizes. All of that is taken care of through our dropship apparel company, and you don't have to touch it. You do have the option to send in a design that you've already had made from someone else. So let's say you've got a particular design that you like. You can have that uploaded to a design through our dropship apparel company. There is a small $50 setup fee for that. So it isn't very costly if you've already got a design that you like and you'd like to use. The other options are if you'd like to have an MRP design, MRP design image anyway. We do have a couple different levels. We have a level 1, what we call a level 1, which is just a basic design. And it contains it's just a basic design, I'll tell you that. I'll show you a little bit. I don't want to get too deep in it because there are a lot of options that come along with it. But there are a bunch of options when you look at this. So here's some of those that have already been designed for a level 1 design. And then there's also some options for a level 2 design, which kind of include cars that would be on your shirt as well. For drag racing, we don't have a lot of car options. We're trying to find some more that we really like, that we think will be helpful. Currently, we just have the single dragster, but the level 1s are pretty cool. So level 1 would be something like a simple design that's got a front and a back, or just a front, depending on what design template you go with. And that's going to be a $100 fee for us to make a design for you. If you do a level 2 design that usually includes a car, that's going to be a $300 design fee. So like I said, it's nice because you do not have to have any inventory with this type of store through us. It's a dropship apparel, and it makes it nice and easy. The only thing that has to happen is the only way that you're going to receive your money. By the way, you do get to set the pricing on your items, so you can figure out how much you'd like to make per item, and you get to set the price of your items as well. And then all the money that you make from your apparel is sent to you via ACH from My Race Pass. So the payments are processed through My Race Pass, and then we send you your money through an ACH on your account. That's the first type of store that we have available. The second type of store that you could do through us is a self-managed online store. That's where you have the inventory, you are the shipping. So inventory and shipping capabilities are required. You're the one that will be packing the orders, shipping the orders, all of those things. But it is nice because then you can have as many different items as you'd like. You can have cups, you could have, mouse pads, you can have socks, hats, whatever it might be. There's a lot more variety that you could have if you have your own self-managed online store. But it does require a PayPal account because that's how you're going to get all of the shipping information from the people who are purchasing from you. So with that type of store, that's the type of store we have set up on this page. It looks kind of like this. We are missing some images, but it looks like this. You can organize it based on type of product, and then they would click on that, and then they would have the opportunity to order a certain number of them, certain size. If you have multiple colors, you can do it like that as well. And they would add that to their cart, and they would pay for it. And that payment would actually go through PayPal directly to your PayPal account. And that is where you would find, like I said, that is where you would find their shipping information. I can I guess I don't need to go to the store, really. But that's where you would find the shipping information, is on your PayPal account. And again, you would be the one responsible for packing it and shipping it and all of those good things. The nice part is that you can also put a quantity on your items. So let's say you only have a certain number of items available. You can do that through here, and you can say once they're gone, right? And it will tell on your website when it gets low. It will say that it has a low inventory, and then if it's out of stock, it'll say out of stock. So it's kind of nice to keep control of your quantities on here. But again, you have to manage it for sure. The last type would be if you did a third-party online store. So if you had a online store through a different website or a different provider or a different somebody else, you could do that as an option, and then you could just have a direct link from your store button. So this store button would automatically direct link out to somebody else's or your store on a different website. So that is the third option. Build a store on a different online store platform, and then you could have it direct linked out to that, and it's going to be hosted by somebody else, obviously. So if there's something that some other provider that you like better, that is an option to do a direct link. So that's kind of all about the store. There's lots, like I said, there's lots of different things. So if you have more questions about the store, again, please contact support@myracepass.com. We'd be more than happy to walk through it with you. We'd be happy to talk you through it and figure out which option is the best one for you. But we just want you to be successful at what you've got going on. So let's work together and figure out what works best for you. The last thing we're going to talk about are what we call custom pages. These are what we call super pages. I've said it a couple different times on here. Super pages are like these pages that have fan info. Actually, we're going to go to driver info because this is the one I populated a lot of things on. Driver info, in this case, this is considered a super page. This is one that you can build from scratch on the backside and have it kind of look any way that you want it to look. So I'm going to show you how to build one of those pages, kind of, and talk through why I like each type and why I might use each type. So you're going to find all of your super pages that you have on your website located under the More dropdown. And once you get into this More dropdown, you're going to see that you have a lot of different options. Most of the ones that you're going to be looking for are going to be from like this track info down. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different because it depends on what pages you have on your website, what's going to be showing up on this list. So some of our what we call quote unquote basic pages, track info, driver info, fan info, those kind of things, they're going to show up in this main column here. But all of the additional pages that are kind of track or series specific are going to be located under this miscellaneous pages. So you can see there's a my generic page or a city, rules, staff, so on and so forth. So if you click on one of those, you can see that this is a sample generic page section. It says this is the sample section to prove a point, I guess. This is kind of what it looks like. If I did not have anything on here, it would look like this. We'd have all of these 8 options that would pop up like this. And these are the 8 options you have to choose from for building your particular page that you're looking for. Like I said, I'm going to walk kind of through each one of those and tell you all about them, and then you get to decide how you build yours. So the first one that we've got going on here is what we call a section heading. This is useful for breaking up your page. So to break it up and kind of create sections to your page, you can use different section headings. You could break it up based on different classes, different topics, whatever it might be. It's really nice for breaking it up so then you don't have the same boring page the whole way down. In this one, you can see that I've got a section heading here, and underneath of it, this is like a lowercase blurb that goes along with that. It just like helps you break up the page. I have another section heading down here. You can see another section heading, again, added to break up the page. So section headings are nice to kind of change the topic. And when you click add element, this is what it looks like. You have your option for your heading. That's that larger, in my case, it's red. In your case, it might be a different color. A larger heading words, and then underneath of it is that subtext. You can do a little bit of like describing what the section is about or whatever it might be. Again, I like those because it breaks up the page and allows you to build a page that's cohesive but also broken up. The second one is the simple paragraph. I like this. It's nice for typing out basic content, but it also allows you to include an image. It can be helpful for explaining something that has a visual to it. So if there's like a Hall of Fame or a past champions or something of that nature, you could use a simple paragraph. When you click add element, there's a heading and a body, just like a news article. And you can use all of those same markdown syntax things that we talked about earlier. You can use those on these super pages as well. And then you can include a picture. So you can include a medium-sized picture or a small picture. You can put it on the left side or the right side of the text. So what that looks like on the front side is this right here. This is a simple paragraph. This is the heading of it. And then there's the body of your paragraph. And then this one has a medium-sized image on the left. Here's another simple paragraph with a small image on the right. So you can see there it looks a little bit different. Again, play around with stuff, figure it out. You can always delete it. So it's not like it's there forever. If you do it and you don't like it, delete it, start over. And here's a bunch of different ways that you can bold and italicize things as well. I'll show you kind of what that looks like on this backside here. But those are your options for a simple paragraph. Let me go to, I'll delete this. And I'm going to go to my other page that I've already written out. So here's what it looks like on the inside if you're going to bold things. Double asterisks, like I said, italicized, a single asterisk. If you're going to do a link, remember it looks like this. A clickable link, whatever is going to be the clickable part is in the square brackets, and the link you want it to link out to is located inside the parentheses after the square brackets. There's no space between here and the square brackets. It just so happens to go to the second line because the link is too long. So that's kind of a simple paragraph. I really like that one. That's probably my second favorite option on the list. The next one over is a page list. This can be useful for like bulleted or numbered lists, bulleted items or number lists. For example, if you're going to have different available options at the concession stand and you want to lay it out, or you want to break out your points breakdown in a bulleted form. You can also do your points that way if you're not using us for a points page. You could use a bulleted list for the points standings for your racers as well. It looks like this when you do it. I've kind of made a few modifications to this one. I'll tell you a little bit about what I did, but if you click on the page list, you do get this form. You have a list heading, so you can say whatever it is. And then you have the option for doing bulleted list or numbered list. And then you can have one column or two columns. Mine has two columns, but you could do one column as well. And you just type whatever item you want to put in here, and you just click add item, and then it will give you a new one, and a new one, and a new one. You can add as many items as you'd like, up to, I don't know if there's a limit on how many list items you can have, but each list item can only have 100 characters. I do know that. So I'm going to go into my list and show you kind of what it looks like. I'll get rid of this one. If you look at this list here, I've done a few things to modify it. And again, this is extra. I will tell you that. This is like way extra. I bolded the topics or the titles of the types of racing. So see double asterisks on either side. Those markdown syntax also work in this format. And then after it, I did put a description on this one because I wanted to show you that you don't have to put like a itemized list. It can be short paragraphs. Like I said, each one of these can be 100 characters long, so you can write a little bit of a lengthy description for each one, or a lengthy bulleted list of items from there. The other thing I want to show you is you can move them up and down. So let's say I wanted sprint cars to move to the top. I just push that arrow and it moves it to the top. Push that arrow, it moves it back down a spot. So you can shuffle these in order however you want them to. And that's a kind of a bulleted list, or a list item. A page list, my bad, that's what it's called. The next section over is that file download. This is something that will, using this type of thing, will automatically, or could automatically put files into your file manager. Remember me saying on your drop down for your media, you've got that manage files section. Using a file download in a certain way, and I'll show you what that is, will automatically put those files in there for you, and you don't have to go to that separate screen to do it. So with a file download, again, this might be, like I said, it might be good for providing downloadable documents in one place. So anything like rules, again, point standing if you're not using our points page, printable schedules, any kind of like W-9 forms that they need to print and bring to the racetrack with them, any kind of file that you want to be accessible and or downloadable and or printable, you can use a file download for. So if you click add element, you can put a heading on it just like before. So you could give it a heading and say, you know, downloadable items or items to bring to the track or whatever it might be. And you're going to click add files. Here you've got a couple different options. Obviously there aren't any current files. So you could go to available files, which would be all of the files that are on that manage files page that I showed you before. Here are all of those, and you can click on them to add them. Or you can upload new file. So this is the same upload screen that you saw on the manage files page, but it's here and located right here for you. So you can upload it right here on the spot, and it will automatically put it on that manage files pages for you. So just like before, you need a revision date, a name that is going to be descriptive enough so people know what they're clicking on, and then choose the file that you'd like to upload, and then you click upload file. Then when you're done, you click the X in the top right. Again, same thing here. You click, once you have your files attached, you click the X in the top right. It will produce that file for you, and it will look like this. So if I wanted to add some more files to this, I can click add files, and I don't want to add my current file because it's already there, but I'm going to go to available files. I'm going to add my mobile ticketing and my drag racing one to there. So I'm going to check them, and I'm going to click add files. And now they're on my list. Just like the other ones, I can shuffle the order by clicking on the arrows to move them up and down depending on what topic or what file I want first. And when I'm done, I'm going to click the X in the top right. And now you can see I have 3 files here. I'm going to click save, and it's going to close it out. And now I have 3 files listed here instead of just 1. So again, this is good for rules. You can break it up. You could do a different, like you could say, you know, rules, and then underneath of it could be top ET rules, modified rules, junior dragster rules, whatever it might be. You could have multiple rules files underneath of it. So that's kind of a cool section or a cool type of to use. And then the next one is the media item. This is an individual or single media item. You can add a heading and a caption to it, as you can see here in this example. And this is good for providing like facility updates or winner circle images or something of that nature. Something where you only need a single media item. So the screen to add those, you can see in between, I forgot to mention this, in between all of these different elements, you can see there where it says insert here, it will bring up that same 8 block option, no matter where you pick insert here. So if I click on media item, add that element, again, it automatically takes me to my photo galleries because that's what I'm going to upload. It's a media item. And you're going to find the photo that you want from one of your galleries you already have listed, or again, you can upload new. You can put it in a no gallery, or you can add it to one of your current galleries, and then go from there. So I'm going to go back to select, click photo, and select. And now once I see my image here, I can click the X in the top right. And now I can see that I have my single media item. To edit the caption and the title or the heading, you're going to go to the pencil with the paper. You're going to click on that, and that will allow you to use a title or apply a title and a caption to this image as well. Then when you're done, you push submit, and it will look like this. I'm going to delete the one I just created. It'll look like this right here with a single media item. That's the title at the top, and here's my caption at the bottom. Just like before, you can change these. You can go back to this little pencil guy and you can edit anything you've got written in the title or the caption. You can also click on the other one that looks like a Polaroid with a pencil. If you click that, that takes you back to your images and you can switch out the image that's located there. Again, if you click current, you have the opportunity to edit and remove that one so you can give it a new one. But it'll add a new one anyways, so that's up to you. So that's a single media item. The next thing up in this option is this blank section. This one right here, this happens to be my very favorite option for building any super page because it literally is a blank section. It's super handy because it's probably the most versatile option available on here, and you can add any of the basic text and links and all those things to this, as well as any of the markdown syntax that we talked about. Using some markdown syntax like bolding and italicizing and adding links and those kind of things, that just kind of makes your page less boring. Really highlights some certain things. You can do that by using the bold or the italicize to try to break up the monotony of the information you're trying to relay, so that everybody has a good time experiencing your website. So in this box, again, you can just type in whatever it is you want. You can type it in as regular text. HTML is also allowed. So if you are a coder and you know how to do a lot of HTML stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. I do not know how to do that, so that's why I just use basic text. When you get done, you can do a lot of different things, but like I said, I made an example right here. You can see that blank sections do not have a heading, however, but they are the most useful sections on our super pages because you can add whatever text you'd like. Just like a simple paragraph, you can do many of the following, like I had before. You can bold, italicize, have a clickable link. Here's some enlarged text. I talked about that in the markdown syntax. There's some enlarged text with one pound sign, and here's some smaller text or some shrunk text with 4 pound signs. That makes it like a heading 4. And then you can also do a horizontal line. So you can see that I have this horizontal line right here. It's kind of faint, but you can see it. There's a horizontal line. You can do that by adding 3 asterisks in a row or 3 dash marks in a row. That will give you a horizontal line in there as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do with a blank section, which is why I love it so much. You can also add an image to a blank section as well if you'd like to. There is a way in the markdown syntax to show you how to do that. But another easy way to do that is just to add a single media item, which is what I would recommend. Image gallery, that's the next one that we have up. So if I click on this one, this image gallery, if you hover over it, you can see the description says this is a image gallery with up to 10 images. You can add it up to 10 images. You don't have to, but you can. So as I wrote in my blank section, below is an image gallery. You can add up to 10 images. And you can click on the individual images and it will make them larger. So you can see here, when you add it, again, it takes you immediately to your photo gallery. So you can click on an album and load it from there. Or again, you can upload them into a particular gallery, and then you could drag and drop, just like we did before. Drag and drop right here. And then it will automatically put them into your photo gallery like so. On the back side, it looks like this. If you need to change an image, you just click on this Polaroid with a pencil. And it says you've reached your limit, which is why it won't let you add any more. So you go to current. You click on the one you'd like to get rid of. Oh, sorry. Go to your current. Click on edit/remove. And you can delete one of these images that is already on here. So I'm going to click on this one right here. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. I'm going to say yes. Or okay, and then I'm going to say save info. Now you can see that that picture is still there. If I go back to my select options, now I can select a new image because I only have 9 out of 10 images. So drag photos, I'm going to select this image, I'm going to add it to my gallery. So now I'm back up to 10 out of 10. Click the X in the top right, and now I've got all of my images. Oh, I do want to show you in this image one, if you'd like to reorder them, if I go to current, just like you do in the photo albums, you can reorder and you can drag them around just like we did earlier, and change the order in which the photos appear in the gallery here. And then push save, and now they're in that order. X out, and now you'll see that the images will change order from this one. Now this one is your main picture. On the front side of the website, that section does look a little bit different because it's 10 small pictures. It doesn't have that large first picture like it does here. It's got 10 small ones. So if you just click on, I'm going to refresh because I changed a picture. You can just click on an image and it will make it big. And you can toggle between them with the arrows on the left and right side of the screen to get to the other images in your gallery. You can click on them from anywhere you want and still scroll through them just like this. So that's a photo gallery. Again, that could be really useful for things like winner circle images, previous champions, facility images, anything like that, fan images. If you want to do like a showcase, certain fans, you could do that too. You could add a photo gallery of your fans on there. There's lots of options when you get into super pages. The last section I'm going to talk about, and I'm actually going to talk about very shortly, this last section is your HTML section. I would never use this unless I was a really good HTML coder, because it really, really requires true HTML formatting, and I don't know how to do that. So I don't do that on my websites because I don't know how. And I don't really want to learn because all these other options are so handy and so useful, I don't need to. So those are all the options for your super pages. You can build super pages in so many different ways. If you have any questions about building super pages or want to know how to do something on a super page or find out if something is possible to put on one of our super pages, again, you can always email me, amanda.wessler@myracepass.com or support@myracepass.com, and we'll get you squared away with any information we can provide you. So I know this one went a little long, just like all the rest of mine, because I'm very, very detailed and wordy with what I say. But I hope that helped with building your website, having a functional website, knowing why a website's important. As you can see here, we have a lot of other buttons on our website. We have a driver registration button that takes you to active registrations. We have a buy tickets button, which takes you to active tickets for the website. You can see that they have this track, Georgetown, has tickets for almost every single event on their schedule. They also have season passes available. You can see over here on the right-hand side. If you click get tickets, it will take you to your options for that event. So you can have a lot of extra buttons. I wouldn't say extra, but extra buttons on your website that take you to important, pertinent places on that your fans need. Also, you can see up here we have our social media buttons. They also go to whatever they're supposed to. Like My Race Pass goes to My Race Pass. Our Facebook page takes you to our Facebook page. All those kind of things. So there's a lot of stuff on our websites that's super handy and awesome. You also can have a direct Facebook feed from your Facebook on your website as well as your sponsor scrolls across the bottom of the website. So again, there's a lot of different options on the website, so I hope that helps. I hope that keeps you informed. Again, if you have any questions at all about anything I talked about this week or anything at all, please make sure you email support@myracepass.com. If you don't ask for help, we can't help you. So make sure that you reach out. We're more than happy to help you, and we want everybody to be successful in all their racing journeys. So thanks for staying with me tonight if you're still on. Otherwise, find this on our YouTube page as well as this support page later in the week. Thank you, and have a great evening.